Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Kutztown University Athletics Hall of Fame ceremony. My name is Steve Degler, class of 1988, and your MC for this morning's program. We would also like to take this time to recognize some of the committee members that selected this year's induction class who are with us today. Alex Ojika, Committee Chair, Senior Director of Development and Alumni Relations. Greg Bamberger, Director of Athletics. Josh Leboff, At-Large Representative, Assistant Director of University Relations for Web Content. Matt Santos, At-Large Representative, Director of University Relations, and Brian Salvador, Sports Information Director. Thanks to the committee for their great work again this year. We would also like to take this time to recognize some VIPs with us in attendance today, starting with Kutztown University President Dr. Kenneth S. Hawkinson and his wife Anne Marie. Mr. John Green, Associate Vice President of Communications, Marketing, and External Affairs. Ms. Tracy Thompson, Executive Director of the KU Foundation and Alumni Relations. Mr. Wasker Paulino, Acting Student Representative for the KU Council of Trustees. And the family of late KU Hall of Famer Dr. Bob Wolf. Please welcome his wife Sylvia and their two children, Bob Jr. and Colleen. We are here today to celebrate the careers of 6 of the greatest Golden Bears of all time. Our 6 honorees today include Kristina Braine Newport, a former school record holder and ECAC champion in the pole vault. Eric Clemmer, a 5-time All-PSAC baseball player who led Kutztown to its first PSAC title in 33 years. Scott Eisenhart, one of the most decorated sprinters in Kutztown track and field history. Brianne Homyak Barona, a 2-sport athlete who scored more than 1,000 points with the basketball team and was a playoff starter for the softball team. Melissa Klein Bradley, a former school record holder who led KU to its first ever volleyball division title. And Jessica Schuler, an All-American softball player who led KU to 3 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. To begin our program, I am pleased to introduce at this time Dr. Kenneth S. Hawkinson, President of Kutztown University.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome back to Kutztown University. This is a very special year for KU as we celebrate our sesquicentennial in honor of our 150th anniversary. Kutztown University will turn 150 years old on September 15th of this year. And today's event is just one of the many activities we have planned to celebrate this great milestone. It is really special to have the Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony back here in the Old Main Georgian Room, the historic center of campus. Those of you who have had a chance to read the campus dining story in the new issue of Tower magazine learned that this room was a main hub of activity for many, many years, including serving as the main dining room for much of the last century. Speaking of history, I want to encourage you all, while you are here in Old Main, to visit the concourse to see our sesquicentennial history display, which includes many artifacts and photos from years gone by, including some very nice displays highlighting athletics. Of course, intercollegiate athletics has been an integral part of our institution since we began playing baseball here at back when it was called Keystone State Normal School back in the 1800s. This past fall, we celebrated the 100th season of Kutztown football. The celebration was highlighted by the recognition of the all-time team in November, which attracted more than 100 Golden Bear alumni. Today, we honor our history by inducting 6 of the best student athletes of all time into our Athletic Hall of Fame. As always, our student athletes and athletic teams continue to be a point of pride for our institution. They continue to excel on the playing venues and in the classroom. But only a select few Golden Bears get to experience this ultimate athletic honor granted by our institution, induction into the KU Athletic Hall of Fame. So to our 6 inductees, Christy, Eric, Scott, Brianne, Melissa, and Jessica, this will certainly be a day to cherish and celebrate with friends, families, teammates, and coaches. I'm honored to celebrate it with you. And on behalf of Kutztown University, I congratulate you and thank you for all you have done for our athletic program and university. Thanks to you all, and have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Hawkinson. At this time, we would like to introduce the Hall of Fame members that are here with us this morning. We ask that you please stand when your name is read. Sean Landis, class of 2003, track and field. Amy Wall, class of 2000, basketball. Our first inductee this morning is Kristina Braine Newport, class of 2000. A standout and pioneer in the pole vault, Kristina won the 2000 ECAC Pole Vault Championship, helping the Golden Bears to a second-place finish. She went on to finish 7th in the nation in the vault, earning All-America status. She broke her own school record 4 times in the pole vault, which stood for 14 years. Kristina was a 2-time women's track and field selection to the PSAC Top 10 and earned an Academic All-America Award in her senior year. She was a 3-time PSAC Scholar Athlete, held a 3.80 GPA in speech language pathology, and was named the Kutztown Female Athlete of the Year in 2000. A testimonial from her brother, Chad Braine, quoting, "I am honored to be introducing my sister, Kristina Newport, into the Kutztown University Hall of Fame. Being included in the group of 193 current members and the class of 2016 is a tremendous honor. The thing that has always impressed me about my sister is the way she has handled all of her accomplishments on the playing field. She always downplayed the awards and accolades like true champions do. She downplayed the Garden Spot High School Hall of Fame induction, but now she's in the same Hall of Fame as an NFL Hall of Fame inductee. She can't pretend her athletic career isn't a big deal. The elite athletes not only have tremendous athletic ability, but they have a very strong desire to succeed. She utilized her talents both in the classroom and on the playing field and excelled through constant hard work every single day. Failure has never been an option in her life. She has continued to excel as a mother, doctor, and contributor in the community. She got hit by a car in May and broke her elbow and pelvis. She is so tough, she actually put a dent in the car that hit her. In the hospital room 4 hours later and 2 hours after surgery, she guaranteed me she would not miss my wedding in July. 2 months later, she made the trip to the Dominican Republic in a wheelchair and danced at my wedding. She also just finished a 5K race in December. She may have looked up to me growing up, but she amazed me at her accomplishments and continues to amaze me in her daily life. I may be a little bit biased, but she is the total student athlete and is a great example for the future generation," end quote. Here to assist Dr. Hawkinson with the presentation of Kristina's induction this morning into the KU Athletics Hall of Fame is her brother, Chad Braine. Let's welcome to the KU Athletics Hall of Fame, Kristina Braine Newport.
This is not the first time my brother has made me cry. On the way here today, I was remembering that it was almost exactly 20 years ago that this kind of goofy guy named Brian called up myself and my teammates and told us why we should come to Kutztown. Mostly he talked about his dogs, but after that, he told us that he believed in each one of us and that he thought we could be champions. Like myself, we were not all getting phone calls from coaches at that time. And we definitely were not getting coaches calling us and telling us that we were going to be champions at the college level. But a year and a half later, our women's team won the conference championship, to the surprise of many. And I think a big part of that was that our coaches believed in us. Patty Weldon, Brian Munshine, and our beloved Moon. The first person who believed in me that way, as a coach and as a family member, was my brother. And he continues to inspire people in that way in his role as a coach at East Stroudsburg University. I don't know any other coach who has the optimism and belief in his athletes. Every single time they go out on the field, he lets them know that he believes they can win. And that kind of inspiration is life-changing. And I think everybody in this room can attest to that. In the work that I do now as a hospice physician, I get to talk to a lot of people about what's been important to them in their lives and what's important at the end. And Although these kind of awards are valuable and a welcome recognition, that's not what people are holding on to at the end. They're talking about their loved ones, the people who have helped them, and maybe even more importantly, they talk about the people who they have helped over the years. Because that's what's important to them, is the mark that they're leaving on other people and the way that they've made the world better before they leave. And so I hope that when we all look at these things, we remember the people who supported us to get us to this point. For me, it was certainly my brother and my parents who told me that I could do anything. It was Brian Munshine, crazy Carl Schnabel, Ray Hoffman, Moon, and maybe most importantly, my teammates who are here today. So as we walk out as coaches, as parents, as community members, as teachers, we can all think about the ways that we can inspire other people and that we can give somebody a hand to make them a little bit better, because we all have that ability, and that's what really matters. Thank you.
Our second inductee is Eric Clemmer, class of 2000. Eric was a 4-year starter and 5-time All-PSAC selection as a hitter and pitcher for the KU baseball team. A career .320 hitter, Eric had 163 hits and 99 runs batted in as a 4-year starter. He graduated with records in career walks and sacrifice flies and currently ranks 4th in KU history in walks, 7th in doubles, 8th in stolen bases, and remains the all-time leader in sacrifice flies. On the mound, Eric graduated with a school record 218 innings pitched, and in his career overall, he started in 168 of his 169 games. One of his most memorable moments was when he had the walk-off RBI in the 11th inning of the 1999 PSAC championship game, giving KU its first title in 33 years. KU baseball coach Chris Bloom notes, quote, "Eric was a huge part of the class that turned KU baseball into a national power. He and his teammates paved the way for what was to happen over the next 15 years. I still remember him standing at home plate in Williamsport and delivering KU baseball its first PSAC championship in 33 years. He was a triple threat, being a super defender at first base, a pitcher, and a hitter at the plate. The records and the wins certainly do not tell the whole story of what Eric did and is still doing today to help Kutztown baseball stay atop the PSAC. I am very proud and happy to say that Eric and his family still want to and give back to this program to this very day. I wish I could have 9 Eric Clemmers out in that field for me every game. I know Mom and Pop are very proud, as you should be, for this recognition. You earned and deserve every part of this special day," end quote. Coach Bloom was unable to be here today as the Golden Bears open their season in North Carolina this weekend. At this time, we would ask Dr. Hawkinson to please assist in the presentation of Eric's induction this morning into the KU Athletics Hall of Fame. Let's welcome into the KU Athletics Hall of Fame, Eric Clemmer.
First off, I'd like to thank the KU Athletic Department and the selection committee. It's certainly a great honor to be recognized as one of KU's top baseball athletes. I'd also like to acknowledge the alumni relations and event staff for all their planning and hard work to make this day special for all the inductees and their families and friends. To my family, Mom, Dad, and Chris. Chris, thanks for being my role model growing up. I didn't think this would happen. A great athlete and baseball player in your own right. I learned a lot from you. Whether you were playing catch in the backyard or taking BP with Dad, I appreciate you always being there and providing your support and big brother wisdom. Dad, thanks for the endless hours of catching me. Throwing me those knuckleballs for BP, it was the only thing you could get over the plate. I think it helped me learn how to hit the off-speed pitch. Thanks for being my Little League coach, building a pitching mound in the backyard and a backstop, and always pushing me to be my best throughout my career. Mom, without you keeping our family on track and providing us with daily structure, I wouldn't be standing here today. The work you put in behind the scenes wasn't always acknowledged, but never went unnoticed. Whether you were running us to practice, making sure we were fed or clothed appropriately, you are the backbone and keep us balanced, always taking care of everything. Thank you guys for always being on the sidelines. At every game, you guys were there supporting me. I love you guys. Thank you for making it all possible. To Pete Myers and Tom Shutt, my high school and summer ball coaches, thank you guys for pushing me, believing in me. You guys helped me refine my skills, which allowed me the opportunity to play at a collegiate level. To Coach Royer and Coach Bloom, thanks for giving me the opportunity to prove it on the field. I learned so much from you guys about the details of the game, pitching mechanics, hitting, base running, the mental toughness needed to excel. I'll never forget the endless hours of preparation, running loops and 5 a.m. practice, even after Super Bowl Sunday, when none of us wanted to show up. You guys were always pushing us. The teams you've assembled throughout your coaching careers paved the way for continued success at KU, and I'm happy to be a part of that winning tradition. Thanks to all my teammates. It was a pleasure working and playing and celebrating with all of you. It's a team game, and obviously none of this would be possible without you. And finally, to my wife of 8 years, 3 children, Ella, Ethan, and Samuel, even though you weren't a part of my baseball career, thank you for being here today and pushing me every day and allowing me to carry out my new career at Under Armour. I'm excited that you've had this chance to see a glimpse into this part of my life that shaped me. Thank you, and I love you. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Scott Eisenhart, class of 2004. Eisenhart is arguably one of the most decorated sprinters in Kutztown track and field history. He was an 8-time conference champion and 3-time All-American. As a senior, he concluded his career with a second-place finish at the 2003 NCAA Indoor Championships in the 400 meters. He was named the KU Male Athlete of the Year following that run in 2003. During the 2003 outdoor season, he earned Most Outstanding Track Athlete and Most Outstanding Athlete honors at the PSAC Championships, leading KU to a 4th-place finish. A 3-time team MVP and team captain, Eisenhart graduated with 9 school records, including setting 4 all-time PSAC records. He played an integral part of track teams that went on to win a total of 5 ECAC and PSAC championships. Dennis Latshaw, Scott's high school track and cross-country coach, said, quoting, "Scott was on a state place winning volleyball team in high school, also a spring sport. Finally, his senior year, I was able to convince him and the other track coaches to have him compete in both sports. I wasn't really sure how good a runner he was, but I knew him and the classy young man he was, and I knew I wanted him on the team. Scott did everything we asked and hoped for, making a major contribution to our team, winning the league 400-meter championship and running leadoff on our state qualifying 4x800 relay team. He was a vocal leader, hard worker, and a great teammate. I've had more than my share of bright spots in a 40-plus year coaching career, and Scott will always share a place amongst the brightest as an athlete and quality young man," end quote. Here to assist Dr. Hawkinson with the presentation of Scott's induction this morning is his high school track and cross-country coach, Dennis Latshaw. Let's welcome to the KU Athletics Hall of Fame, Scott Eisenhart.
Thank you for the kind words, Coach. And start off by saying thank you to my daughter. The second she was born, I turned into a giant softie. Thank you to everyone at Kutztown University. My time here today and every year here has been an outstanding experience. Friends and family for coming to help celebrate today. Thank you very much. I'd like to start by telling you the truth about running 400 meters. For me, running 400 meters, 1 lap around the track, was actually very easy to do in 46 seconds. A couple of you are probably thinking that's impossible. I believe 2 of you, Justin and Ryan, are probably thinking, prove it, tough guy. And I'll try to prove that to you. 5 reasons. 46 seconds was very easy for me. First one were parents. Extremely supportive. We all have supportive parents. They go to all of our games, meets, matches, you name it. I have 2 that went 800 miles to the middle of nowhere, Illinois, and 1,600 miles to the middle of Texas to see me compete for 46 seconds. Good news for them, I was able to run pretty well and make it to the finals, giving me 2 races. I still don't think they thanked me for doubling their vacation. The second reason 46 seconds was easy was my brother Ryan. Since he was born, we were always the friendly, competitive brothers, whether it was Super Tecmo Bowl on the Nintendo, making up our own games of one-on-one football outside, throw the ball, catch the ball, one-on-one. That's anything to be competitive and have fun. We would even find ways to figure out who would get the last cinnamon roll at breakfast. Always a challenge, always competitive. The third reason that running 46 seconds is very easy for me was Coach Latshaw. First thing you need to know about Coach Latshaw is he actually shortened his vacation from Florida to make sure he was here today to celebrate. Thanks, Coach. The second thing you kind of heard from Coach Latshaw is he had to convince Coach Weaver to let me do both sports, volleyball and track, in the spring. Pretty sure Coach Latshaw would have spent the night or the week at Coach Weaver's house if needed to make sure that he would agree to let me to try track in the spring. Coach always had those friendly ways of saying, you'd be really good on our relay team. We could really use you on our relay team. Never too pushy, but always wanted to make sure that he gave me a chance. Thanks, Coach. The fourth reason 46 seconds was easy for me was my coaches here at Kutztown. As you heard a little bit from Christy, the Munshines were track in and out. They knew the sport. They loved the sport. Coach Munshine, quick story about him. He could go in the weight room, look at the weights that I was doing hang cleans with. He could be wearing the tightest jeans you could find and still do them in perfect form, better than I could. No stretching, no warm-up. I would love to share a moon story with you guys, but as we all know in the track family, they're not appropriate for this venue. And the fifth reason that running 46 seconds was very easy for me was my teammates. I have 2 specific ones here today, Justin and Sean. We had an outstanding relationship, very close friends, very competitive, always pushing each other. I was very excited to see Justin win the long jump, see Sean win the triple jump, and then of course that made me make sure I went and won the 400. The other thing with our competitiveness, we would finish practice, a lift in the Risley Hall, and go down to the all-you-can-eat cafeteria, where we would finish plate after plate of food. And the competitiveness, as we're sitting there eating, Justin would go up and get an extra cheeseburger. So then shortly after that, I would go up and get a cheeseburger and grilled cheese. Next thing you know, he goes up and gets 2 bowls of cereal just to top it off, to show, how good he is, dinner champ. So the obvious choice for me was 3 bowls of cereal, and always pushing each other in a good way. Thanks, guys. So as it was very easy for me to run 46 seconds, I leave you with a challenge. When you leave here and return home, see if you can find someone that you know and make it easy for them to run their 46 second. And with that being said, I have a final thank you to Maria, Ella, and Nolan for sharing their time so that I can continue to coach and help my athletes reach their Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Brianne Homyak Barona, class of 2001, put her mark on the Golden Bear women's basketball record books. She earned 3 career All-PSAC honors, twice a first-team selection in women's basketball, and once a second-team selection in softball. In basketball, she graduated with KU career records in field goal and free throw percentages. She was fifth with 1,248 career points and finished eighth in rebounding with 550. She was just the fifth player in school history to play in the postseason all 4 years. In softball, Brianne was a career .277 hitter with 130 hits, 56 runs batted in, and 49 runs scored. KU won 111 games in Brianne's 4 seasons. She started at third base for KU's PSAC playoff teams in her final 2 years. Brianne's former basketball coach, Steve Hahn, said, quote, "As most of you know, when you travel to evaluate players during the recruiting cycle, there can be a full spectrum of outcomes. Sometimes you see what you thought you were going to see. Sometimes you are extremely disappointed that you wasted your time on the trip based on the lack of talent you had observed. Sometimes you get lucky and see a player in a previous or subsequent game that you had no idea who was going to be there or would indeed catch your eye. Thus was the case with Brianne Homyak at that random moment. I first saw Brianne rather late in the recruiting process in March of 1997 at the Geigel Complex in Reading during the Single A state playoffs. She was playing in a preliminary game prior to the Quad A player that I had come to see. One has to be careful recruiting a Single A player as opposed to the larger classifications because of the difference in size and speed. But I was drawn to her aggressiveness at 5'11", getting the ball to the rim on drives, and an absolutely terrific, mechanically and fundamentally correct jump shot with range. The recruitment process began that unexpected evening. Eventually, Brianne committed to attend Kutztown University. The previous season, we had lost multiple players to graduation, and it became obvious very early on that Brianne was going to start from her very first game as a freshman. She was in my individual skills group during our preseason workouts, and I have to admit that I was on her back pretty hard during those weeks. But she proved to be a very quick learner. We were going to need her to produce almost immediately. As her first season wore on, Brianne did all the right things, but I always thought there was something better there. In mid-January, Brianne had her first double-double in a road game at Cheney University. I thought it was important that her improvement and production in helping us win games was duly noted with the rest of the team. So I called the team together under one basket after practice and said to them that Brianne was improving at such a good clip and was really helping us win that I was going to get off her back. I wanted to be accountable with everyone on the team for what I said. I think for the most part, I was good to my word for the rest of the season. But you'll have to ask Brianne that. We coaches do have our moments, you know, but I do know Brianne improved steadily during the course of her freshman year. Obviously, she went on to have a Hall of Fame career, winning an awful lot of games in the process. As her career continued, I used to bring Brianne along with me when I was asked to lecture at various boys' summer basketball camps. She had become very accomplished in low post play. Brianne would demonstrate the particular skill as I moved forward with the lecture. She became very adept at listening to brief commands and would put multiple combinations of moves together very quickly, much to the awe of the young boys players. Even to this day, I am not sure whether the lectures were so good because of my astute basketball knowledge or the fact that the camp had a real live college girl in their midst. But they certainly were an attentive audience. Thanks, Bree, you made me look good. During the last couple of years of Brianne's career, with some adding of additional personnel, she was able to move out on the perimeter to play and naturally excelled there also. The same thing that had drawn me to her ability as a high school senior was now refined to the point that her jump shot was about as mechanically correct and fundamentally sound as it could be. And best of all, it went in. Bree was always on balance, feet perfectly aligned, elbow in a straight line to the rim, and an excellent high follow-through. She rarely took a bad shot, and more importantly, knew the difference of when she should pass and when she should shoot. That latter skill being possibly the toughest fundamental to master in the sport of basketball. During my 16 years of coaching women's basketball at Kutztown University, there is a select group of players, in my opinion, who when they shot the ball, I didn't think they were ever going to miss. 3 of those players were Janelle Needham, Andrea Sisson, and Melissa McQuaid. And deservedly, the 4th entry to that list is Brianne Barona. Every ball she shot always looked good going up, and it was shocking when she actually missed. Brianne shot 54.3% from the floor for her career. That kind of gaudy number is usually saved for someone who plays exclusively with their back to the basket, not someone who spent the majority of their career at 15 to 18 feet away from the basket. That's how good a shooter Brianne was. She still holds the career records for field goal percentage and consecutive free throws made. Bree was always a rock-solid leader here at KU, as well as a superior student. Since leaving Kutztown, she has continued her positive influence on the community by being a dedicated teacher, a loving mother, a compassionate spouse, and a true friend. The day she left the Kutztown University campus, I really missed having her around. But my lasting image of Brianne will always be, I thought she'd never miss. I thought she'd never miss. Here to assist Dr. Hawkinson with the presentation of Brianne's induction this morning into the KU Athletics Hall of Fame is her former coach, Steve Hahn. Let's welcome to the KU Athletic Hall of Fame, Brianne Homyak Barona.
Okay, so I don't really have to say anything. I think he said it all. I'm good. See you guys, thanks. First, I have to thank God for everything, period. He is my pilot, and he's the best one. Next, the Kutztown University Selection Committee for choosing me for this honor. It's really, really special, so thank you to everybody involved. Next, my coaches. There's so many of them. It's really hard to name every single one from growing up. When you start at 5 and you play every sport possible, there's just so many people that have really influenced you. From all the dads that have volunteered their time to make me a better player, to CYO coaches, and then we work our way up to high school. Coach Bruto, Coach Murray, they really taught me what it took to be a winner. Even at single A winner. Coach Borzak, who's here today, was my softball coach, who was an excellent athlete herself, one of the strongest athletes I know. Literally, strongest, could probably take any one of you right now outside. She just really taught me what it took to be a college athlete, and I thank her for that. Coach Maloof, Coach Sharon, Coach Hahn, just amazing coaches that never got off my back, I don't think, but they knew I needed that, which was amazing for them to know every player that needed and what they needed was amazing. Coach Hahn, I'm not going to cry yet. I'm going to save that for later. Hold on. Most of all, I really appreciate him just listening and just being there to listen. You know, sometimes you don't remember people for the things they've taught you, but just the kind of person that they are and who they were to you, and he was just there to listen to all the girl drama. How many years of girl drama did he have to listen to? I can't even imagine, but he was always there to listen and give the best advice, and he was always there to take us to the best Haas's buffets on the road. I love you, Coach Hahn. Thank you so much for everything. Coach Nash, Coach Laws. Coach Laws can't be here today, but she really taught me what it took to be a great college athlete in the softball field, and she just made the game fun, which is really hard to do sometimes. And she really gave me inspiration to coach, and I went on to coach actually volleyball for 5 years at high school, and then basketball, and it was just a great experience for me to watch her do what she does and then emulate what she does. My teammates, thank you so much for supporting me and making me the player that I am, that I was. April, Christy, Tony, you're here today, and I thank you for that so much. You were there with me through all the wins and the losses, and all the good times, all the bad times, and you're still there for me to this day. And it's amazing what kind of relationships you develop at college, and those three ladies did it for me. So thank you. Some people that are here, Craig Piper, who has been there for every single moment. I know, I bet you for everybody's moment throughout the years. Thank you. To my player, Danielle Van Buren, who is here today, who was also a Kutztown athlete. She's somebody that I got an opportunity to see her grow as a player, and she's here now with me, and I really, really appreciate that. And her parents, thank you so much. My family, I didn't leave you last for any other reason that I know I'm going to cry during this part, so I'd rather have the mascara run now than at the beginning of my speech, so here we go.
All my aunts and uncles, I have a lot of them. My poor dad has 5 sisters, and he had 4 girls. So he knows he has to use the bathroom last in any situation. So he is a pretty special person. But to all my aunts and uncles, my Aunt Mary, who's here today, who has literally caught every single moment of my life on camera. I think I have 100,000 pictures of my life, but she caught every single step. She didn't miss a game. She was there for everything. And that's really special to me. My Uncle Kenny, who built a basketball court in his backyard. They don't have any children, but they had children with all of us. And my cousins and all of I would go there all throughout our summers and work on that court. And they made sure every line was painted perfectly to the perfect length. And it was just amazing what they did for us. To all my sisters, Jessica, Jillian, and Jordan. I don't know why I'm a B, everybody. I was first, though. Let's just point that out. So they all followed me. They had to sit through so many games. So I appreciate all the support that you guys have given to me. They went on to play, at Kutztown and Bloomsburg and Albany, and we were all blessed to be great athletes and have great parents that supported us through that. My Graham, my #1 fan. I love you, Graham, so much. Thank you. I'm so happy you could be here. My parents. My parents. They have been there, obviously, the whole time. But they are the 2 most selfless people I know. They would have done anything for us. They gave up their entire lives to be there for all 4 of us, going to every practice, every game. I just can't even, I have 3 children of my own, and I can't believe that that's going to happen one day, that I'm going to have to run around and do all that, but I can't imagine living up to what they did. They were there through everything, from the moment I started playing baseball with all the guys, to the moment where I lost my first bat and I had to listen to my dad yell at me for losing my first bat. My dad yelled at me a lot, but I think it was for the better. I'm here today, so I think it kind of worked out for him and I. They just pushed me so much, and like all the other supporters that I've had in my life, they knew that they needed to push me so that I could be the player I am and was here at Kutztown. So I thank you, Mom and Dad, for everything, for being there then and today. And then lastly, my husband. He was there at Kutztown with me and all of my teammates. And if anybody knows my husband, Sammy, he was crazy then and he's crazy now. And you either love him or really don't like him. And I think I kind of fit into that sometimes. He really pushes you to be the person that maybe you never thought you could be, and maybe you didn't even want to be, but he knows it's there and he can see it. He's a real gift for that. And April, Sammy, and Pooch used to take me to the gym after I already did a 5 a.m. morning run, and then I went to softball practice, and they dragged me to the gym and said, "Let's go, you're working on your left hand." I was like, "No, I don't want to work on my left hand." I hated working on the things that I wasn't really good at, but they did it. They pushed me. He still pushes me today. Still don't like it, but he's making me, a better person for that. And then to my kids, Sammy Jr., Amani, and Eviana, I really can't wait to be in the crowd one day for you and hopefully see you do the same things that your dad and I have done in our career. Thank you so much, everybody.
Our next inductee is Melissa Klein Bradley, class of 2003. Melissa was a 3-time All-PSAC selection, including first-team honors her senior season for the KU volleyball team. She graduated with school records in kills and digs and ranked 2nd in service aces. For single season marks, she set school records with 445 kills and 532 digs. And for her career, was the first player in school history to surpass the 1,000 kill and 1,000 dig marks. For single match records, she set the record for kills with 25 on 2 occasions, and Melissa led KU to its first ever division title in 2002 and was named the Kutztown Female Athlete of the Year in 2003. John Gump, current volleyball coach at KU, said, "In the spring of 1999, I stood in my office with Arnold Klein as we waited for Missy's student host to drop her off after an overnight visit. 'Do you think she can help your team?' he asked. 'Yes,' I replied, 'I think she can.' When her career ended following the 2002 season, Missy had accomplished everything you just heard. Looking back, I think it's safe to say she helped us." As impressive as the stats and accomplishments are, they don't make up the full picture of Missy as a player and person. From the moment she joined our program, she was driven to be the best player she could possibly be. She was intense and focused, playing with great passion and desire. There are some players you can watch and have no idea how the match is going. Missy was not one of those players. She was emotional, and while that emotion at times caused her some struggles, it ultimately was the fuel that powered her athletic engine, and I don't think she would have been close to the player she was if she had tried to suppress it. Like most great players, Missy could be stubborn, but she was also coachable. Over the course of her career, she continued to develop her game and add to her offensive arsenal. Her willingness to adapt helped her continue to be successful against defenses that focused on stopping her. The highlight of my time with Missy was November 9th, 2002. That was the day we beat East Stroudsburg to win the first PSAC East title in school history. But that date represents far more than just a 2-hour match that remains one of the biggest wins in program history. That day was the culmination of nearly 2 years of hard work and dedication by a special group of players. And while the road to that day was long and filled with setbacks and disappointments, Missy and her teammates never wavered in their commitment to each other. Then she was part of a special group of players whose efforts on the court played a huge part in kicking off a stretch that saw our program capture 4 PSAC East titles and advance to the NCAA tournament twice in a 6-year period. Now she is part of a special group of alums who have remained close throughout the years and never fail to bring a smile to the face of a rapidly aging coach by the way they continue to love each other. And speaking of smiles, Missy has one of the best all-time great ones, but you'll get to see that for yourself in just a few minutes. As time passes, athletic accomplishments are often inflated. In Missy's case, there is no need. It's indicative of what an amazing accomplishment 1,000 kills and 1,000 digs in a career is when you consider that in 13 seasons since Missy's career ended, only one other player has accomplished that feat. What she achieved as a Golden Bear was impressive as it was happening and remains impressive more than a decade later, which is why Missy Klein so richly deserves to take her place here today as the newest member of the Kutztown University Athletics Hall of Fame, end quote. Here to assist Dr. Hawkinson with the presentation of Melissa's induction this morning into the KU Athletics Hall of Fame is her former coach, John Gump. Let's welcome to the KU Athletics Hall of Fame, Melissa Klein Bradley.
So as you can tell, I'm always ready to play. I carry a volleyball with me all the time. I am honored and blessed to be an inductee in the Kutztown Hall of Fame and join the unbelievable group of athletes. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for thinking of me for this wonderful recognition. It's certainly one of the most meaningful and personal honors I've ever received, and I'm really proud and flattered to be standing in front of you today. I would like to take a brief moment and just thank a few people in my life who supported me through the years, developed my skills and love for the game, inspired me to work hard and be confident in who I am. My parents, none of this would be possible without you. You supported me in trying something new, encouraged me to continue to work hard, cheered me on throughout the way, dealt with smelly knee pads, and joined in chanting for all our ace cheers. It meant the world to me and still does. I'm not sure what I would have done if I didn't hear someone scream focus every time I went back to serve. You showed me how to be a loving and caring person and set the example every day. You taught me that things weren't always easy, but with faith, Hard work and discipline, you'll get through, and you've always been there to encourage, console, and motivate me when I needed it the most. Mom and Dad, you've made a lifetime of sacrifices for me, Greg, and Steve, and we're lucky to have you as parents. I hope I'm able to support my future child the same way you supported me then, and continue to support me in my life. It's the baby, it's on me. There's a couple other people I wanted to acknowledge that are here today to join me in the celebration. My brothers, Greg, Steve, and their families. My best friend, Jen. My teammates, my husband, Matt, his parents, Jackie. It really means a lot. Thank you for being here. My husband, Matt, and my current teammate. I'm excited for this new adventure with you. We'll figure it out. When I think back about my time here at Kutztown, I'm filled with great memories and a really good feeling. Being a part of the Kutztown women's volleyball program has had a great effect on me and my life. The friends and the relationships that I've gained from playing volleyball makes it even more special to have receiving this award. Coach succeeded in bringing the right mix of ladies together to work hard, both on and off the court. We always supported each other through the ups and downs of the season. We did a lot of motivational pregame rituals and cheers, unique warm-up mixes, and just silly humor. We always had fun. Coach Gump, thank you for inspiring me to be the best person and player on and off the court. You always went the extra mile to motivate the team to work hard and come together. You took all the different personalities and built us into a working team. Thank you for the hours that you spent building up our strengths and minimizing our weaknesses. You truly care about each one of us. I'm sure you're still enjoying those early morning sunrises during the off season. Kutztown was one of the best decisions I've made. It provided me with a great education, friendships, and one of the best volleyball programs in the PSAC. Thank you so much. Go Bears.
Jessica Schuler, class of 1998, was a four-time All-PSAC first-team selection and two-time All-Region honoree for the KU softball team. She was named to the Louisville Slugger NFCA All-America team and the ECAC All-Star team in 1996. A career .349 hitter, Schuler ranked in the top 3 in school history in 5 different categories upon graduation. She set and still holds the school record for career sacrifice flies, graduated second all-time with 124 career RBI, second with 27 sacrifice hits, third with 37 career doubles, and third with 44 stolen bases. Kutztown posted a winning record in each of her 4 seasons as her 1996 team catapulted KU to the first team in KU history to advance to the NCAA tournament for 3 straight years. Dan DeMarco, Jessica's batting coach for nearly 10 years, said, quote, "I first met Jess after a softball game that I had attended to watch one of my pitchers play. As I watched Jess play that day, I saw an extremely gifted but very raw player, flying and diving all over the outfield making plays. Her passion for the game, along with her fierce determination and hustle, really stood out to me compared to the rest of the kids. You could just see she was going to be special." She was in 9th grade. After the game, she came up to my picture while I was speaking with her and introduced herself to me. I told her how impressed I was with her physical gifts. I told her that her bat speed, hand-eye coordination, power, and arm strength were exceptional. But I was concerned with her overhand throwing mechanics, that she would eventually have arm problems if she did not make the proper corrections. She asked me if I would help with her throwing, and I agreed. She tirelessly worked on her throws, along with her footwork on drop steps and crow hops while I hit fungos to her. She loved shagging fly balls at the playground near her home. As our friendship grew, I began to help her with her hitting. She was like a sponge. She wanted me to explain to her how pitchers would attack her and tried to set her up. She wanted to know how to become a well-rounded hitter that could hit to all fields and fool pitchers into giving her the pitch she wanted. She would volunteer to catch my pitchers during their throwing sessions to learn pitch and spin recognition. She willed herself to be the best, and she was. To this day, she is the best situational hitter I have ever seen. And the credit goes to Jess. A coach is only as good as the players they work with. Her work ethic, along with her desire, dedication, and thirst for knowledge were incredible. When I saw how quickly she was progressing, I recommended to Coach Laws that she keep an eye on Jess. Coach Laws did exactly that, and the rest is history. Congratulations, Jess. You have earned this honor, and you deserve it. I am so happy for you and very proud of you. Here to assist Dr. Hawkinson with the presentation of Jessica's induction this morning into the KU Athletics Hall of Fame is her former coach, Dan DeMarco. Let's welcome to the KU Athletics Hall of Fame, Jessica Schuler.
This must be what it's like to win an Oscar or an Academy Award or something like that. Wow. So good morning. I'd first like to thank the Kutztown University Athletic Department and the Selection Committee. I truly recognize how special it is to be included amongst a group of some of the top athletes Kutztown University has ever produced. And let me tell you, the amount of emotion when I got the phone call about this was truly overwhelming, to say the least. So thank you. When I was young, I loved to play softball. Much like a lot of the other athletes, I thrived on softball. I loved playing. Everything I wanted to do was just to play while kids were hanging out with their friends, while they were going to the beach during the summer. I was either on my way to some random tournament, practicing my skills at the park with the locals, or dreaming about my batting mechanics at night. This love I speak of probably resonates with many of the athletes that are here today. We all have the same love, these same dreams of being great. High school came and I got better. Then college, I became a student of the game I love so very much. I watched, I learned, I listened to coaches that may not have known that I was listening. I made mistakes and I vowed to improve. Constantly was I challenging myself each time I was up to bat, analyzing what I could do to assist my team. But I never cared about the stats or the honors. And although I always appreciated the compliments, my motivation to understand everything about the game was so that I could be the best that I could be. And the interesting thing about being the best at my game is that I never connected that to the rest of my life until more recently. Ironically, after 25 years of playing this game that I love, I've actually had nothing to do with the game any longer. It's probably been about 10 years since I've stepped on a field. So you're probably asking why I'm admitting this to you today. And looking back now, I recognize that it wasn't the game that was as important as it was what I learned from it and how it impacted my life. But before I speak of that, I must admit that none of this would be possible without certain people in my life that were key influences. I am always thankful for my mom and my dad for starting me out in t-ball and encouraging me to play more and more. My dad coached me when I was very young, as he was quite the baseball player himself when he was young. And you know how some parents like to vicariously live through their children. That was my dad. But unfortunately, 1,000 miles separates us and his being here to watch this. And I know he would love nothing more than to be here today for this. But I know that he's with me in spirit and that he is so very proud of me. But I do want to acknowledge one other person who had a huge impact on not only my career, but wooing me to play at Kutztown, and that's Dan DeMarco. He was my batting coach since, I thought it was 10th grade, but apparently it was 9th grade, I forget. Quite a long time. And he has been a huge supporter in my life in so many ways since. At the time I was looking for colleges, he also happened to be my pitching coach, or not my pitching coach, but a pitching coach here at Kutztown University. And that definitely swayed my decision. I have always been thankful for all the time you spent coaching me, but more important, helping me to become and shape the person that I am today. So after retiring from the game over 10 years ago, I look back and what I learned from my experiences of who I became as a person. Someone not only motivated to achieve, but to be the very best person I know how to be. After college, I had a few years that I had fallen off my path and wasn't sure who I was anymore because I defined myself as a softball student up until that time. So I had a talk with Dan. We had lunch, and in one of the most important epiphanies I ever had was when he looked at me and he said, "Schuler, you have to dig down deep. You have to find the confidence in yourself to live your life like you have when you're on the field." And I never forgot that. I learned in that moment that I am powerful, that I can set my mind to anything and achieve it in life, just like I did on the field. And I can be quiet, gentle, kind, and loving at the same time as reaching down deep to achieve something I never thought was possible. Coach Judy Laws saw that. She saw the determination in my eyes as well as how I played to be my best all the time. She learned in 4 short years how to push the right buttons to get me to excel in the field. I think that's her gift as a coach, actually. She saw something in me that I had not realized was there, and I am so very thankful and proud to have been able to play under her here at Kutztown. And as you've heard from Brianne, she's actually not here to see this and to congratulate us, but because of her preseason tournament, but she did actually give me a call and congratulate me earlier this week. And she shared some thoughts with me, interesting thoughts that coaches never reveal to you until years after you've achieved your success. I have been so very, very blessed to have all these amazing people to guide me and pass on their wisdom. I feel that this unbelievable honor is the closure to an earlier part of my life, and I quite possibly will never step on the field again. But the memories and the impact of the few people I spoke of today will always resonate within the person that I am in this moment. That, in my view, is the importance of playing a sport when we are children. Not the winning or the awards, but that sports teaches us how we want to be in this world and how to get there. I again thank Kutztown University for this honor, my education, and I thank all of you for listening to my swan song.
And now for our closing remarks, I would like to introduce the athletic director at Kutztown University, Greg Bamberger.
Thank you, Steve. First thing, I would like to thank KU Foundation for hosting this event and organizing this whole event. So thank you to everybody in the KU Foundation and the Office of Alumni Engagement, Alex and your team. A few other people I want to thank before I make a few comments. I don't know if she's still here, but I know that Coach Janet Malouf, women's basketball coach, is here also. There you are. I know you got a game in 90 minutes, so just to remind you. Okay. Also, a lot of the accomplishments of these student athletes couldn't happen, obviously, without their coaches. You heard all those comments. But there's also a support staff that has to deal with this. And I know we have 2 representatives from our sports medicine area, Rennie Sacco, who probably worked with a lot of these student athletes, as well as Jack Entrican. I think Jack is here somewhere. So I'm sure that all 6 of them spent some time with Rennie and Jack in some way, shape, or form. Also, you heard a lot of the numbers, you know, the RBIs and the points and this and that. Those are not just made up. Those are compiled by a group of people called our sports information directors. And we are probably one of the most fortunate groups to have 2 of our previous 3 or 4 sports information directors still employed here. Matt Santos and Josh Leboff, and obviously President Brian Salvador. So thank you for all your work in compiling all those statistics and putting all these numbers together. And obviously their efforts on the Hall of Fame committee also. So thank you to them. On behalf of the department, congratulations, Scott, Brianne, Missy, Jess, Christy, and Eric. Every time I come up and make final comments, I wait till the end to see what the theme is. And I'm going to try, and I'm sure I will, not make it 7 for 7 and have the 7th person up here actually tear up and get emotional and all that. So I can understand why, and actually I was fortunate to enter a chapter of the PA State Hall of Fame a few years ago, and I know what it feels like when you're up here accepting those kind of things. So congratulations. But I do always try to grab the theme. And the theme from everyone, I think, was emotion, obviously, passion, and family, okay? Bree talking about her uncle who put a basketball court out for them to all play. Eric talking about his dad who built a pitcher's mound. I mean, think about that. Missy, who's about to bring another mouth into this world, which we're, good luck with that, and hope that you can wait a little while longer before that happens. At least till you get back home. But we do have a physician here to take care of things. So, not your field, but I'm sure you can take care of things, Kristina. But congratulations to everybody. Just to give you a quick roundup of where things are in the athletic department right now. This past fall, we had our highest finish in what is known as the Dixon Cup PSAC All-Sport Trophy. We finished 6th after the fall sports, which is one of our highest starts to the year. So no pressure on the winter teams or the spring teams, but winter right now, things are going well. Our men's basketball team, if you've been following, is in a virtual tie for first place in the East. The women are playing hard, fighting strong, trying to lock down that playoff spot. Our other winter teams are also representing well, and we hope we'll have some good finishes in their championships. And then, as I always kid with, and you've heard their names today, Judy Laws and Chris Bloom, the pressure's on baseball and softball. Even though there is other spring sports, outdoor track and field and all of them, but depending on how things go in the winter, we'll obviously put the pressure on the spring sports to hopefully bring home our 2nd Dixon Trophy at the end of this year. But the year has started off very well. One final recognition I do want to make, the department and the foundation would like to take just a quick minute to recognize the late Dr. Robert Wolf, class of '55, and his family. Bob Wolf was inducted into the KU Hall of Fame in 1982. Bob was a longtime professor here at KU in the mathematics department and served the university community for many years. He was also a coach and a longtime member of the KU Hall of Fame committee. It is my pleasure to announce that the Wolf family, who has established the Dr. Robert F. Wolf Class of '55 Hall of Fame Endowed Scholarship. The scholarship was created in Bob's name to provide recognition and financial assistance to an outstanding student athlete currently enrolled at Kutztown University and in good standing with the Department of Athletics. I would also like to thank the many of you who were kind enough to make donations to the fund as part of today's festivities. In attendance today are Sylvia Wolf, class of '57 and '79, who is here with her children, Colleen and Bob. I would like to thank Sylvia and the Wolf family for their generosity and their longtime commitment to KU athletics. Sylvia, if you would. Thank you, Sylvia, so much. So congratulations once again. Hopefully you can join us for the doubleheader this afternoon and the recognition during the halftime of the men's game. For the Hall of Famers and your immediate family, there will be some hospitality area because I know it's going to be a long day, and I'm looking at Missy. But it's going to be a long day, and I know you've got some hands you've got to try to track onto and hold on to. So there will be an area in Keystone 129 where you can kind of take a break and get away from some of the action. So congratulations once again. Thank you to everybody that makes this possible, and go Golden Bears.